here, and I'm back for another video. So for today, instead of doing a yoga sequence, I decided to create a tutorial on how to achieve your middle splits. The middle splits is very difficult, you guys. It took me a long time to get it. Well, also because I was inconsistent with my stretching as well. So if I were to been a little bit more consistent, I probably would have gotten my middle splits a little sooner. However, what's done is done, and I finally have my middle splits in 2020. Woohoo! So this video is just going to be a tutorial on how I went about to getting my middle splits. I'll show you guys the top stretching moves I did to stretch out my quads, hamstrings, hip flexors, and groin. And also with the split, make sure that you have patience with yourself and that you're determined to work hard every day. A little bit of improvement every day is worth a lot more than one major improvement where you'll end up injuring yourself, because this move can hurt your hips, it can hurt your groin, your hamstrings, if done improper and if you force yourself. Take it slow and allow yourself to move a little bit farther every day. And eventually, next thing you know, you're gonna have your splits. Also, Lexi wouldn't leave me alone, so that's why she's in the video. So enjoy her presence as we go through our middle splits. So for the first pose that I wanna show you guys is the froggy stretch. And the froggy stretch will help stretch out your groin and inner thighs. And the way to do this pose is you're going to bring your big toes touching together, go on your forearms if you can. If you can't, that's fine. You can do it on the palm of your hands. I recommend forearms because it's a deeper stretch, but do what you're capable of doing. Bring your knees almost in a horizontal line and then push back. Bring your butt to your heels, and that's where you're going to feel the stretch in the groin and inner thighs area. And then push back out and push back in. And for each stretch, do what you think feels good. I would recommend stretching about 5 minutes per side, 15 to 20 breaths, but whatever you feel comfortable and whatever you have the time to do. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to overdo it, but you also want to get a little bit more flexible, so try to go a little bit farther each day. The second pose I want to show you guys is called malasana or yogi squat. And this pose is a little hard to get into if you don't have very flexible hips. So please take your time getting into this pose and really focus on balance and breathing and allowing your body to get as low as you can. And with malasana, you're able to stretch a lot of your lower half, so your quads, hamstrings, hip flexors, groins, inner thighs, and also, in my opinion, lower back when you decide to stretch forward. And the way to get into malasana or yogi squat is to put your legs hip distance apart, point your feet in a 45-degree angle, and bring your butt to the floor as low as you can. And then to make this stretch a little bit more advanced, you can sway from side to side, so putting weight on your left and right foot, or you can bring your hands to heart center and use your elbows to push your knees out, and at the same time sway side to side. So whatever you want to do. And what I was saying earlier about stretching your lower back is if you decide to reach forward, then you're getting that spinal stretch as well. But if you can't go this deep, that's okay. This is, like I said, a little bit more of an intense pose. So if you're ending up like this or whatever height, don't worry about it. If you want to, focus on the stretch a little bit more compared to the other stretches. And the reason why that I'm giving you guys a variety of stretches to do is because it will allow you to expand your flexibility in more areas, being able to move your body and having that mobility to touch on different muscles
so you can have more range of motion and better flexibility. Your body works as a whole, in my opinion, and so helping to stretch one area of the body will help other areas of your body as well. And it's just a little bit more fun, not having a strict routine to follow by, just doing a little bit of moves here and there. Because at the end of the day, it's better to stretch every day for 10 minutes than stretch one day for an hour. So that way you're always having that stretching time and increasing your flexibility. This next pose is called goddess pose, or you can think of it as a sumo squat if you're a weightlifter. And this pose just helps bring in strength in your lower half and also work on quads, hip flexors, inner thighs, hammies, similar to the malasana, aka yogi squat. So the way to get into your goddess pose, bring your legs a little bit more than hip distance apart and then allowing your feet to be in a 45-degree angle. You can bring your hands on your knees and just squat down. And if you want to make this stretch a little bit more intense, you can push your knees outward. You can bring one shoulder in at a time, or bend forward into a forward fold, or you can raise your feet so you can be on the ball of your feet. If you want to stretch up, you can, but or going side to side. If you can on the ball of your feet, then you have balance. Well, just something to play around with this pose. This pose is very versatile and it'll really help you gain not only flexibility, but some strength as well. This next pose is the butterfly pose, and it's not that hard. You guys can get it. So you just bring the soles of your feet together, and the goal is to see how far you can bring your ankles close to your groin and seeing if you can bring your knees to the ground. If I was supporting myself, I'm able to do it, but if I'm not supporting myself, my knees come up a little bit. You can either lean forward, or you can do a side twist to the right, side twist to the left. And this pose is good because it really stretches your inner thighs, groin, hip flexors, and quads, because when you're pushing yourself in, or if you choose to bring your knees in like that, your quads are feeling the stretch too. Especially when you're leaning forward, your quads are really feeling it. And so that stretch is very helpful as well. Now, I don't know the official name for this pose. I like to call it side straddle, but I don't really know what it's called. It's similar to what I was doing in the goddess pose, where I was swaying from side to side on my feet. So what it is we'll go on our right foot, bring our left leg out, and use our right elbow for the right knee and push our knee out. Just stretching the groin, thighs, the same thing I've been saying this whole video. But there's other alternatives to this stretch. You can also reach for your foot. You can do prayer hands. You can do a bind. You can do a twist. Woo, that's a good crack. Whatever you want to do. But the main part of this move that I like to do is not only stretching out the lower half, is to bringing my left foot out and then moving to the left side. And then doing the same thing, doing a bind, stretch, stretch, whatever you guys want to do. But if it's a little bit challenging moving side to side like this, then that's totally fine. Put your hands down on the floor and use that to help with your balance until you've gained the balance and momentum to go from leg to leg without using your hands. Do whatever you can. I just really like that pose because not only am I working on flexibility and mobility, but I'm also bringing strength and balance, which helps not only for middle splits, but for so many other aspects in your life and also in your fitness journey. So now we've moved to a different spot in my house because I'm going to show you the last move that I recommend into getting your middle splits, which I feel like out of all these moves benefited me the most because it worked on balance, it worked on strength, it worked on flexibility and mobility, and also I had gravity pulling my legs down. So let me show you. So get to where you're on or near a wall and bring your butt to the wall and bring your legs up and then bring your back down. This pose right here is also extremely beneficial because it's allowing your blood to circulate in the other direction, and it helps reduce anxiety, it helps you feel better. I was told holding this move for 10 minutes is equivalent to 1 small cup of coffee, so I guess the energy levels are the same, but this pose isn't going to help you get your middle splits. And the pose that I'm talking about is bring your legs down to as far as you can, while still allowing your butt to be on the wall. And I like to hold this for a good solid 10 minutes if I have the time, and just allowing my feet to get as close to the floor as I can. And this will really help strengthen the groin, stretch out the hamstrings, quads, and the hip flexors. Just seeing how far you can go. Just seeing how far gravity is going to take you. And don't worry, your legs aren't just going to flop onto the ground, because this is where core work will come, and also strength to help keep your feet on the wall so it's not falling, because you can use your heels to catch yourself. We'll go a little lower, and the way I go lower is I just wiggle my feet. And there you go. You're doing splits on the wall. And bringing yourself up, you can do it so many ways. I just bring one leg up at a time, or if I've been holding that position for super long, I bring my hands to behind my knees, and I bend one knee up to my chest and bend the other knee up to my chest. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the #1 pose I highly recommend into getting your middle splits. Once I started incorporating this pose more often, I started seeing a rapid result with my middle splits. Now we're at the part you guys have all been waiting for to see me do my middle splits. So here we go. After making sure that you guys adequately stretch enough, then perform your splits so you don't hurt yourself or you don't stretch out a certain leg muscle. And also, I recommend, personal preference, do what you want to do, to go into your splits with a flexed foot. This will keep your legs active and engaged, and also bring in a little bit more of a stretch. Because if your feet are pointed, you're still, of course, stretching your calves and your hamstrings, but it's just not going to feel as intense as if you bring your foot upwards in a flex position. That just brings a whole different level of intensity. Just trying it out. Bring your feet in front of you, point toes, bring your toes up. Point toes, bring your toes up. Point toes, bring your toes up. Just adds a little bit more intensity. So I'll bring myself into a yogi squat or a malasana, and then just see, I'm on my heels with a flexed foot and just bringing myself to the ground. And here you go, guys. Here's your middle split. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys start working towards your middle splits. I'll post these photos on my Instagram as well if you guys want to see it on there. And have fun with this, play around with it. If you have a different variation to these poses, you're more than welcome to try it out. The end of the day is to experiment and see how far your body can go. Thank you guys all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!